another standard deck update for this episode, and today we are featuring common color today in the metagame with the new set, Kamigawa Neon Dynasty. And this deck is what they call the Orzhov Control. So this is from the MMA Merely Mars #1 by Lord Hebos Magic. This was played by username Streka. The event had into 8 players. As we can see here, the rest of the decks have these other archetypes in the ranks, but I've chosen this list. This was in the top 4 of this tournament because mainly of I've noticed new updates that which they added in their build, which I think somewhat adapted to the metagame with the coming of this new set. So without further introduction, we'll have to check on the deck list. This is the visual preview of the deck. So we start with the creature choices. You had 3 copies of these concealing curtains. It's just basically a 1-drop 0/4 wall, but you can just basically pay 3 to transform it, wherein if you transform, other opponent reveals their hand and you may choose a non-land card for them to discard it, and then they will also draw a card, but at the least you get to answer their best threat in that moment, which it also garners you a 3/4 attacker in the process. So 3 copies of this, along with Lumeric Aspirant for the 2-drop, 4 copies, and 4 copies of Silver Quill Silencer. Before, this was just I think a new inclusion, given that it is from the Strixhaven set, but with its ability not only as a 3/2 for 2, but choosing a non-land card name, wherein if the opponent casts a spell with the chosen name, they lose 3 life and you draw a card. So basically this gives you more advantage as you get to name that non-land card whenever they cast it. But given that you wouldn't know initially, but we'll have another card here that maybe it will validate this creature choice in the main. So going through, we have a copy of Legion Angel, wherein you can just fetch 3 more Legion Angels from your sideboard. And then, given the total creatures are just 12, we go through the spell choices. We have the spot removals, Infernal Grasp and Vanishing Burst as common inclusions, along with Hagra Mauling, which is acting as a land resource if not needed, where in its casting cost it might not be viable because it basically just will cost you 4, but early on you can just play it for the land drop for Hagra Broadpit. So as mentioned earlier, this is the Silencer partner, which is the 3 copies of Duress in the main deck. Given that today's metagame, there is the Naya Runes deck, wherein they mostly cover auras and enchantments in the main deck, you can just basically make this Duress effective. So having 3 copies in the main deck will not really hurt the game plan of control. So given that you can just check on their hand, choose the non-creature or non-land threat, and then make them discard it, along with the information that they will know what card to name with this follow-up card with the Silver Quill Silencer. So basically just a 2-card combo, which is very good in making sure that your game plan against the other decks can be executed well without any resistance by discarding their best card and having them to lose 3 life in the process with this creature. So given another card is Humiliate, this is another discard spell effect with an Orzhov colors, you choose a non-land card aside from discarding them, you can also put a counter on a creature you control. So given these 2 drops, you can basically just curve out early on without really hurting your play, in which your late game can also go with the discards. This Emira's Call, the Wandering Emperor, which is also a good inclusion. The card from Kamigawa in Dynasty, which is can just outgrind opponents by putting up 2/2 white samurai creature tokens, as well as dealing with their best threat by exiling them and also giving you 2 life. Along with the pseudo inclusion are the Lost Spider Queen. This is the late game card for this deck. Whenever you control dice, you put counter on it, and then you can also create more 2/1 black spider tokens with menace and reach, which can basically serve as blockers and later on do attacking in cases that you control your opponent's board. Of course, with the help of Mythos Massacre, whenever a creature control dies, then each opponent loses 2 life, and at the same time, if their opponent creature dies, you also gain 2 life. So another inclusion here is the fixing of mana via Restoration of Iganju, wherein you can just search for a basic plains card, reveal it, put it in your hand, and shuffle, and then if you discard a card, you may return to a permanent card with value 2 or less, and at this end lore counter, you can just exile it to flip it into Architect of Restoration, wherein it is also a 3/4 attacker in its choice with Vigilance, and whenever it attacks, it will also create a 1/1 Corroded Spirit Teacher token, which can also serve as attacker and blocker by itself. And given that Wedding Announcement is an auto-inclusion in this deck, it can just produce card advantage via a 1/1 white human creature token, or just lets you draw a card, and then later on you will just flip to Wedding Festivity, which can just pump out all your creatures, including your creature tokens produced by the Wandering Emperor and Lost Spider Queen. As for the mana choices, we have the common setup, except that we included the Takenuma Abandoned Mire, 1 copy, and Iganju State of the Empire for utility purposes later on. So it's still Hive of the Tyrant, still the best manland to have here because of its 3/3 menace, which can also exile cards from defending player's graveyard, which can be relevant in certain scenarios. So for the sideboard, we have these choices. Basically, given that you already have decent discard cards in the main, you can just improve them by having discards such as Go Blank, wherein you can just discard 2 cards and exile their graveyard, along with spot removals. For example, for mono red, you'll have Blood Chiefsters as your cheap one to cast spot removal, additional Infernal Grasp for straightforward creature kill with payment of just 2 life, and additional Vanishing Burst for monocolored matchups. Also, this is the Soul Shatter. It's just one of inclusion in cases that there are Planeswalkers that had maybe get through your discard spells. You just let them sacrifice it by using discard. So this is the Legion Angel as being fetched by the 1 copy in the main, and additional Planeswalkers for the late game. For Sovereign Merciless, Sweep of Doomscar for maybe another option for creature aggro, and Lost Spider Queen as more Planeswalker threats in the late game. Farewell Heal is also a good sweep, as you can also exile all, not only the creatures but also graveyards, artifacts, and enchantments depending on situation. So overall, I think this is decent build for the current metagame, with all of the creature choice and sort of a mini combo with the Jures in the main. If ever that the metagame will still remain, such as this example here, wherein you can place other Orzhov controls, mono black, Esper, and also blue white, having a main deck Jures will not really hurt in the deck build, and you can also produce other card advantage via your planeswalkers, your wedding announcement, and this reincarnation, restoration of Iganju. So that is all for this standard deck tech for Kamigawa and Dynasty Standard. I do hope you enjoy this short explanation of the cards, and don't forget to click like and subscribe to my channel for more Magic the Gathering content, and until the next one, and thank you for watching.